Hello YouTube, it's currently 4:15. Hello Facebook as well. Let's get started on what we've got. Got some new updates out there, so let's take a look at them after we take a look at the temperature out there, which is also something that I did not have set up yet. I just quickly went live because I know there's a lot of people wondering what has changed. Unfortunately, I can't give you any good news. Give me 1 second to get this station back up. I actually had to move my weather station again because it was not doing good where it was at. So we got it moved anyway. Let's get it up. And of course it may not load up, so give me just a second. It should load up in a second because I just redone it. There we go. So it's currently, we got 7 mile per hour winds out of the north. We've had some gusts as high as 13 to possibly even high as 20 miles per hour. Let me turn that music down a little. Hope I don't get a copyright strike for that. But anyway, very warm out there. 74 degrees out there today. Very, very warm day out. Just put it that way. It's just warm all over the area today. See if I can get a more broad area. But yeah, just really, really warm out there. 76 degrees, 78 just to the west, 79 over there toward in Marshall County up there around Guntersville Lake. It is just warm out there, and it's really windy out there, too. Some of those higher gusts going up into the 20s. Overall, of course, we haven't had any rainfall within the hour, but do expect that to change, of course, as we get on into the time period. Now, let's get on into it. Let's go ahead and get on into it and get it over with. So let's take a look at the high-resolution rapid refresh. This right here is going to give us an idea when this stuff's going to come in and how intense we expect it to be. So let me take a look at it. I may have to zoom it out a little bit. So bear with me. It's going to close and open back up. So let's take a look. 23, 203, so 0203. Let's see here. I mean, the forecast models are now showing between 8 and 10 o'clock tonight. So I have a little chart over here that gives me an idea of the timing. So between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and some of those storms are pretty mean. As you can see by the high-resolution rapid refresh, this is future models showing what we expect. And some nasty stuff expected to move into Marshall and DeKalb counties within that time period. As you can see, some of those cells there had some hail in them. So there is still that possibility of some tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail. All of that is pretty confident with that. We'll move on and take a look at the tornado risk. They have expanded it even more now. I mean, this is probably the first time I have ever seen that big of a hatched risk for tornadoes. So very big area there of hatched risk for tornadoes, being about a 15% chance. I think that's more like a 10% chance. Forgive me. Yeah, about a 10% chance of that in the hatched area. So a hatched area basically means they're pretty high confidence that there's going to be some tornadoes within this line. Doesn't mean that the whole area will receive tornadoes. It just means there's high confidence anywhere in that area there that there could be some tornadoes in North Alabama today and even into tonight. So big area there to keep a very close eye on. Tornado watch did go up just to the west of us. Do expect this to expand to the east as we go on into the evening and into the overnight. Looks like it will expand east. It could, unless some things change. So right now, National Weather Service Huntsville released this statement here: tornado watch in effect for Florence areas, Huntsville areas, to the west of us, and along I-65. A few tornadoes likely. Some of those wording in there could be a few strong tornadoes, but they would be pop-ups. So it wouldn't be something like where there's just widespread tornadoes everywhere. They would be pop-up, but they could be very intense when they do. So a few tornadoes likely. Scattered hail up to ping pong ball size. That's very possible too. With our biggest threat being scattered wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour. That is extremely high winds. And we'll move on from that to actually take a look at that wind outlook. And as you can see, a big difference with the wind there compared to the tornado outlook. Rather high threat there for the damaging winds there. About 30%. That's like middle way. So that's high confidence that there's going to be some damaging winds with this stuff. 60 to 70 plus miles per hour as it comes through. Doesn't mean everybody will get it, but some will in this area, as discussed earlier. Now let's take a look at the hail threat. It's kind of backed off just a bit to the north, but pretty much same area as it was in earlier. Around Birmingham, Gadsden, Talladega, Huntsville, Decatur, Florence areas, DeKalb, Jackson, Marshall counties, all in this in northeast Alabama. So could be some large hail in this stuff as well. So we're keeping a very close eye on all this. Now the timing, let's get right into the timing. This is the newest information released by National Weather Service Huntsville, and as you can see, we're in pretty good alignment here. Between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. looks like it'll clear northeast Alabama, but let's start over and move back. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., Florence, Russellville areas. 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., Fayetteville, Huntsville, Coleman. Areas further northeast, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. DeKalb, Jackson, Marshall counties. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So right in that time frame, that is when it's supposed to get pretty nasty around here. And even some of the models showed some intensification as it moved east of I-65. And I was also looking at some of the wording, some of the newest outlooks and information that the SPC had put out, and it noted that as this line gets across I-65, they note, especially east of I-65, that threat will begin to get a little bit more intense and favorable at producing damaging winds, hail, and even a tornado or two as it moves to the east and along I-65 and east. So we'll see what happens, but that is what their wording was that I saw earlier. Now, again, this is a little note from National Weather Service Huntsville. Have multiple ways to get warnings. There's weather.gov. You can go on there, check out multiple ways to receive warnings. Of course, turn off Do Not Disturb. But here's the thing. I'm hearing about an outage with the apps. So if you have a weather app on your phone, not sure if it's still there. It's still out. But from what I last heard, that the apps that notify you of severe weather were not working correctly, as well as tier or level 2 of our radar is not working correctly due to what I have understood. This may not be factual, but from what I've heard was due to a cyber attack of some type or outage. So that being said, keep an eye on it. Make sure, hopefully you have a weather radio. That's your best bet. Local TV and radio. Never rely on outdoor sirens for indoor purposes, so you're only going to hear them outside. So that being said, we will move and take a look at the radar really quick. That is something that I did want to do. I almost forgot about it. But starting to fire up out there. Looking at a cell that's had my attention for just a little while now as this came across Mississippi into northwest Alabama. Looks like it's going toward Russellville. But yeah, that little cell there's got some hail. And I know a lot of people, are confused saying, well, I don't think it's going to do much. Well, right now, this is only the first line right here in the front. This little line here is the first line. Not all that worried with this line here. Our worry is coming in with this second line here. And it's looking pretty intense. As you can see, it fires up pretty good as it's moving into northwest Alabama. And it will continue to move into an area more favorable of development for severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, damaging winds. But there is also a probability that it doesn't. So, there's always that possibility that it doesn't. So, hopefully it doesn't get that bad. But there's potential out there, lots of it. If these storms can get into that energy and they can pull up into that energy, then they're going to be intense, and they're going to get intense quick. So that's why we're watching them right now. That's why tornado watch is in effect for northwest Alabama. And we'll continue to watch this as it moves on across, and it is possible a tornado watch may be issued for northeastern Alabama. But right now, our watch area is just to the west. So watching this stuff here, let's take a look really quick and see if we have any rotation in any of this. So I did note some small areas there really briefly, but nothing really catching my eye at the moment. It's too intense. There is look like some broad areas in there every now and then, but let me check another scan here. Let's check for damaging winds. Of course, this is probably going to be outrageous winds because we're shooting so high up at this point, but yeah, these storms could definitely produce some gusty to damaging winds, but not seeing a lot. I mean, they really haven't digged into that energy yet. And if they don't, I'm going to say if they don't by the time they get to I-65 or to the east, then it's probably not going to do much of nothing but, rain and wind. But don't let your guard down at all. I mean, this is not an event that you need to let your guard down with at all. So you need to keep your guard up, make sure you're weather aware, and have multiple ways to receive warnings if needed. I'm still watching these cells down near Red Bay, but we will be sitting back here watching everything, and we'll take a look at the comments here as well. Again, the timing on all this looks like 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Florence, Russellville, which is right now. That's the lines coming in right now. They're supposed to intensify a bit as it goes from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. anywhere between Fayetteville, Huntsville, and Coleman along I-65. As it progresses east of I-65 between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., it could get pretty nasty out. I know even the high resolution rapid refresh was on board with that, which was different from what we've seen earlier. And I was mentioning that to everybody. I said I didn't really trust it all that much. And that's why I said I didn't trust it. So let's take another look at that. So between 7 and 10 o'clock, you see it's kind of just scattered out, and then boom, hits I-6 along I-65 and east of I-65, and it just explodes. So that's what we're going to be watching. Some of the models also showed the Cape values being further south, but this now is making it all the way up to the north here. So yeah, but we will watch them. There is that threat. I definitely can't rule it out at this point. So stay weather aware until it's completely over with. But that is what I've got. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll take a look here at the chat as soon as I get ready to wrap up for YouTube there. Thanks for watching, YouTube. God bless. Subscribe, like. Hopefully you will like the content and enjoy it. I wish I could go live on YouTube like I do Facebook, but we do what we have to do. So Facebook gets a lot more coverage than YouTube does. So I think I get maybe 5 or 6 likes. The most I've ever got was 125 likes versus the thousands I get on Facebook. So it's just no comparison. Facebook's where I need to be. So God bless. Take care. We'll see you on the next one, YouTube. Thanks again.